Total Extreme Wrestling. Welcome back to another edition of our All Elite Wrestling Save. We're in the last week of November. We have just moved away from Full Gear and we are now building towards our next major show, which will be in the new year. Looking forward to it. It should be a good one. The New Year Smash is what we're going to be looking forward to next. That's going to be our next major show. Speaking of shows, we've already got AEW Dark booked. Might as well get in and see the results, so let's take a look. On the pre-show, Varsity Blondes make their debut as a tag team. Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison together. They took on the team of TNT, which of course is the new Dudley Boys. Well, Pillman Jr. 35, Griff Garrison 25, Terrence 15, Terrell 17. So quite clearly Brian Pillman Jr. looking pretty good in the early stages of his AEW run. Got a bit of a chance to work with Cody and of course the Natural Nightmares, which gave him that little bit of a boost, a bit of a jolt to get his career going. And I figured let's bring Griff Garrison into the fold. And I like the idea of the Varsity Blondes. I think it's a team that could work. You know, it might take a while for them to get somewhere, but I think there's a bit of potential there. 28 for that one. Santana, he now has to take a bit of a singles route now that Ortiz has a bit of an injury. So we're going to use him in more of a singles capacity for the time being. And we tested him out here against Sonny Kiss in the pre-show for 48. Santana 51, Sonny Kiss 30. So definitely probably should look at Santana maybe being, a guy that potentially will put over that mid-card singles guy coming through the ranks. We open up the show with Pac Miro and Lance Archer all out there with Jake Roberts, of course, as they discuss the TNT Championship Tournament and who's going to win it, who's the favorites. 66 for this segment, which is really good. It obviously had a lot of storyline heat coming off that recent segment. Of course, Sting was involved, so he really boosted it up. So to get around the 60 mark for promos and things like that, I think is really positive, and I'm pretty happy with if we can continue to, do numbers like this going forward. The Butcher and the Blade took on the Best Friends, a part of the AEW World Tag Team Championship No. 1 Contendership tournament. And pretty good, 50. Trent 50, Chuck Taylor 47, the Butcher 32, the Blade 36. I feel like that's probably better than what we've seen from Butcher and Blade in recent times. I think that's a really strong performance. No surprise, Best Friends doing well. I think they're the team that will probably be, the best team in this tournament overall. So very positive to see them do really well there. And they did pick up the win over the Butcher and Blade. Mr. Brody Lee's backstage and he's looking to recruit more people. This time he's with Broken Matt Hardy, trying to recruit Matt Hardy to the Dark Order, but Matt Hardy does decline. So kind of talking about how Matt Hardy's alone now, trying to deal with Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, Will Hobbs is out of the picture. So he kind of saying, look, if you need backup, we've got a whole group of guys right here to ready to go to support you. All you have to do is join us, and he does decline. 71 though, really good segment in the end, so that's good. Brody Lee, as we've said, has been very disappointing. Matt Hardy's really starting to improve in the promo category, so that's good stuff. Daniels Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, SCU, are talking about their chances of potentially winning the Tag Team Championship Tournament. So 47, pretty good, and that does advance the storyline there as well. Awesome Kong squashed Red Velvet in 4 minutes, and an easy way to get Awesome Kong back on TV. A nice little win. Post-match, Chris Statlander came along and shut down a potential ambush 2-on-1 attack on Red Velvet. Chris Statlander coming in to save the day. 36 for that one, so bringing the storyline heat down just that little bit. Hikaru Shida cut a promo, just kind of talking about her future in the women's division. So nothing of substance at the moment for Hikaru Shida. We've kind of had her in storylines. Now she's going to flounder a little bit, kind of work with some of the other talents just to have good matches, hopefully. But I figured let's give her another promo here to keep her appearances up on TV. And our main event was Joey Janela versus Matt Sydal. And we had Matt Sydal pick up the win in about 15 minutes. Joey Janela outperformed Matt Sydal, surprisingly. 44 from Joey, Matt Sydal 42. And Janela strained his wrist in this match. Overall, only a 40 rated match. That's pretty disappointing. You would have thought two guys on the cusp of, breaking through that mid-card. We'll do a little bit better, but not to be. So the overall result was a 42 for this week's AEW Dark. Alrighty, we are going to be taking a little bit of a risk on this episode of Dynamite. A couple of guys that we probably wouldn't put in the main event, we're going to stick in there. I'm not sure if this is going to be the best rated show of all time, but I feel like we're in that little point where we're going to have a few bad shows. Hopefully we can pick things up closer towards our next pay-per-view. So we're just kind of exploring some different things, trying a few different things. So let's see how it goes. Okay, on the pre-show, Bea Priestley and Priscilla Kelly, of course, bad reputation, cut a promo on Thunder Rosa at 38. It's pretty good actually from these two. I didn't expect a lot, but that's a nice little surprise. 38's pretty decent. The Young Bucks, wow. So they've actually cut a good promo. We've never been able to have a good Young Bucks segment. And here they are, an 82 rated segment talking about their recent win over FTR. Wow, okay. That's big. We've struggled to get the Young Bucks, their storylines good heat because of their, poor promo ability. So here they are cutting a tremendous promo. Gives me high hopes for the future with the Young Bucks. That's fantastic. That's really, really good. Kip Sabian took on Colt Cabana. These two have no chemistry. Colt Cabana 36, Kip Sabian 31. Colt Cabana picked up the win for a 37 rated match. Yeah, I've got no plans for Kip Sabian. Just don't see a lot in him. Colt Cabana, he's just that veteran that's kind of floundering around, not doing a lot at the moment. I feel like I want to put Colt Cabana in a tag team. I feel like that's probably the best avenue for him. I know we have a lot of tag teams, but I feel like he just won't really be truly in the mix until he kind of has a partner, or maybe, can be in the mix in amongst all those tag teams and get some matches that way. Because at the moment, we don't have a lot of space for mid-card singles matches, that have any value. So that's where Colt Cabana is kind of missing out. So I'll have to think about a potential partner for him. He's not in the Dark Order in our save, so we can scrap that. So he's really on his own. So we'll have to think about it. Shawn Spears was with Tully Blanchard, and they're expressing their frustrations due to a lack of opportunities for Spears. I figured let's get Spears on the show. Let's just do, a pre-show promo and let's see what he's got. 37 for this one. We opened up the show with a 76 rated match where we spoke on Dark how we're planning on using Santana a little bit more as a solo guy and kind of competing a bit more. I figured, well, Cody Rhodes, he hasn't had a match since he lost his TNT title. I figured he needs to come back on TNT, on Dynamite, and get a win. And I thought Santana would be the perfect guy for it, and it really was. 76 rated match, fantastic. Cody Rhodes, of course, picking up the win. Cody 79, Santana 53. Great match, really good. Post-match, a 93 rated promo from Cody. Wow. Cody Rhodes addresses his recent TNT title loss and Omega slapping Paige. So we are looking to transition over into Cody Rhodes taking on Kenny Omega one-on-one at some point. I think that's the big money match. An Elite versus Kenny Omega situation. I'm all for it. I think that's going to be a really fun few months worth of feuding. And Cody, great promo, 93. I'll take that every single time. That is awesome. Helping out the storyline heat indeed. Dasha was the interviewer there. Next up, Tag Team Championship Tournament matchup. Jurassic Express took on Private Party. This is Jurassic Express's first match in the tournament. I've kind of been waiting for them to appear on Dynamite. I feel like they are the number one tag team in the tournament. They've got 40 pop each. They perform really, really well together as a team. So I feel like they're the big dogs in this tournament, and they should be on Dynamite as much as possible. Probably same with Best Friends, maybe even SCU. Private Party, I see a lot of potential in these guys. They performed way higher than their popularity, and here they had another good match, 56 rated match. Jungle Boy best in the match, 54. Isaiah Cassidy, though, 49, was excellent as well, advancing the storyline heat. And of course, Jurassic Express pick up their first win in the tournament. Dustin Rhodes cuts a promo on Ricky Starks for 51. So we are building towards Ricky Starks and Dustin Rhodes up next with that promo. And the match, 54. Now, here's an interesting thing. Ricky Starks performed at 43. A man who's only got 25 popularity or so. That is really good. Dustin Rhodes, pretty good though, 49. I would have loved to have given Ricky Starks the win here, but I still see value in Dustin Rhodes. You know, he's just coming off a big feud with Eddie Kingston's family, so I didn't want to have him lose here. I wanted to keep him looking strong. And Ricky Starks, he's an up-and-coming guy. He doesn't really need the wins yet. He's still got that association with Team Taz, and he'll be fine. So I'm not too worried there. And Ricky Starks beating Dustin Rhodes wouldn't really help Ricky Starks that much just yet. That's something we can do down the line when Starks has a bit more popularity. But nonetheless, 54 rated match is excellent. Really like that. And yeah, so Dustin Rhodes advances into the next round, which I believe he will face Park next. Sting is backstage. He's interviewed by Tony Schiavone, and he's going to address this MJF situation. Sting says, look, I did what I had to do. I did what needed to be done inside the cage match, whether MJF likes it or not. I had to do it. I had to make sure there was a clear-cut winner, and I did what I felt as though was right. So Sting addressing MJF, this is going to be a slow burn. You know, this is going to be week to week, you know, one guy firing at each other, maybe a week or two here and there where they don't do a lot. It's a bit of a slow burn as we try and unravel what we're going to do with it and how we're going to approach this rivalry. But nonetheless, good promos back to back. MJF had a good one. Sting here. No doubt this is going to be a strong storyline just based off the promos. It's what we do to really capitalize on it. You know, do we do a cinematic match? You know, can we get Sting to do something a little bit more substance? Or, you know, is it really MJF taking on someone who is going to represent Sting or represent AEW? I don't know. But something's going to happen at some point. We just have to kind of figure out what we're going to do with that. Darby Allin took on John Silver for 51. Darby 63, Silver 30. Quick win there for Darby, 5-minute match. And it will, of course, be used to build up our next segment. Brody Lee approaches Darby and offers him a Dark Order mask post-match. So all the Dark Order out there trying to convince Darby Allin to join them. So no response just yet. We'll find out in the future what his decision is. But 52 for that segment. Awesome Kong and Britt Baker teamed up for the very first time to squash Red Velvet and Big Swole. 3 minutes 45 seconds this match. Awesome Kong 44, Britt Baker 42. And kind of gives us a reason to do the Red Velvet situation as well with Awesome Kong. And the reason why Statlander would come in and get herself involved. So, you know, Baker and Kong look good and just need some opponents to kind of hang in there with them. We decided to do a rematch for SCU in the Hybrid 2 here in the Tag Team Championship Tournament. You know, sometimes we're going to, you know, if there's a good match up there or something along those lines, we'll kind of go with a rematch here and there just to really get the most out of the storyline. And sometimes I think, you know, if there's a close match or, you know, there's a close decision, I think doing a rematch, I think the fans can appreciate that as well. So, you know, we'll do that from time to time if we see fit. But a 54 rated match here, Daniels 55, Kazarian 51, and Helico 50, Jack Evans 48. So Hybrid 2 certainly outperforming my expectations of them. SCU I still believe are probably one of the top teams in the tournament, maybe top 3. So they're doing pretty well. And they of course picked up the win. Eddie Kingston approached Sting and he requested that Rey Fenix be given a main event opportunity. So we knew Sting was in the building. Eddie Kingston found him and he wants to be, you know, he wants to make sure that his guy is looked after and he's going to get it. So Rey Fenix will be in the main event and he's going to take on Broken Matt Hardy. So, you know, this is where we're taking the big risk, putting two guys that don't have a lot of popularity in the main event and hopefully that they can deliver a pretty decent match. Lance Archer defeated Matt Cardona for 54 in the tournament. TNT Championship Tournament, that is. Archer 62, Cardona 44. So, look, I was going to have a long, lengthy match here, but I figured, look, Lance, you know, just needs to kind of steamroll a few guys and get his way towards that final of this tournament. So I'm happy that Archer can beat Cardona. I don't have any plans for Matt Cardona at this point. He's just kind of there to take some losses and probably be on his way out pretty soon. So this is something that will benefit Lance, hopefully, and a 54 match is decent enough. Main event was Rey Fenix and Broken Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy was off his game. Just when we needed Hardy to really step up, he didn't quite deliver. Rey Fenix, though, was great, 68. Matt Hardy, 55. Rey Fenix actually defeated Matt Hardy, though. So this is where we took a risk. We gave Rey Fenix the win thanks to Brian Cage getting involved and screwing over Matt Hardy in the end here. So allowing Fenix to pick up the win. It was a flash pinfall, quick little escape win for Fenix, so Matt Hardy doesn't lose out on too much. And post-match, Eddie Kingston cuts a promo for Rey Fenix and says the family is ready for Moxley. So we are starting to really ramp it up and build towards Moxley versus Rey Fenix at our next pay-per-view. It's not the strongest match in the world, but I feel like it's a good placeholder match. It's a nice, interesting match that will probably deliver pretty well, I feel, in the meantime, while we wait for Moxley to have a genuine big-time opponent coming up next. And who that's going to be, I still don't know at the moment, who he's going to face at Revolution, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. But for the moment, I actually think, just having a quick think about it, we haven't done a multi-man match of any sorts. I feel like maybe it might not be a bad idea, to do some sort of multi-man match at Revolution, maybe a 4-way or 3-way, something along those lines to spice it up, do something a little bit different, but we'll get to that when we get there. We had a 65 rated show in the end, so the main event certainly let us down. We had some really good angles on the show, some great promos. Cody had a great match. So yeah, it could have been a little bit better, of course. If we had, maybe a 65 plus main event, we might have been able to hit 67, 68 show. But as we said earlier on, we're just looking to kind of cruise along, build up towards our next pay-per-view. And if we have to take a few risks, then we'll do it. All right, let's take a look at all the results. Before we get there, as you can see right on front of us, the Big Show, his contract has expired with the WWE, and they do not want to re-sign him. He's got 69 pop, which is actually a little bit lower than I expected. I thought he might have 75-ish. 69 is probably fair, honestly. But look, he's 48. Not a lot he can really do in the ring anymore. He could probably still put on something of a match. He's got real no value to us in terms of, longevity or being a star. Yes, you could have him just put over our talent and do it that way, but I think for us, it's no point bringing in Big Show, not unless we really want to go with Big Show versus Shaq or something ridiculous like that, but I think we'll stay away from the big man for the time being. NXT, they had a 2.14 rating, 1.611 million viewers, 67 rated show. Roman Reigns was on the show and he lost to who? This guy, Rick Boogs. 14 pop beat Roman Reigns, and he didn't gain anything out of it. Maybe 1 pop. Roman Reigns lost to a genuine job guy. And Reigns only performed at 70. That is fascinating in more ways than one. That is incredible. Nonetheless, our show, we had 1.05 TV ratings, 791,000 viewers. Wow. Okay. Considering we didn't have a great show, that is very interesting indeed. Let's just see where our top ratings are. It's not anywhere near it, but it's one of our better ones in recent times. So that's good to see. We are on the improve, and that's what you want, obviously. Getting close to 800,000 viewers again would be fantastic. So we can keep going in that direction. It'd be great. So yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm happy. In terms of popularity swings, well, Rey Fenix has moved up to 51 after beating Matt Hardy. So that's a bit of a big jump. I think he moved up 2 or 3 points by beating Matt, which is great. Lance Archer's at 49, Darby Allin's at 44 in the Southeast, which is fantastic. Moving up the card, Matt Hardy has dropped again, I believe. He's down to 54. I'm not worried about Matt, even though he isn't doing that well on his own. He's got Jeff Hardy coming in, Hardy Boys reunion. There's so many great tag teams to feud with. I'm looking forward to that. I feel like he'll kind of revitalize his career a little bit doing that. His promos are getting better, so he's starting to really do well in that regard. So I'm not too worried. I feel like he'll regain that popularity pretty comfortably. So he can afford to take a few losses to some guys lower down the card. Brody Lee's starting to kind of resurge himself a little bit, down up to 53 pop, which is okay. Miro 63. We really need to get Park going as well. He's important. for us. Main event wise, Chris Jericho, as we know, he's at 85 flat, doing excellent. Cody Rhodes, 67 in the Southeast. Moxley, 73, so he's regaining despite losing to MJF a few months ago. Kenny Omega's pretty much 70 across the board, which is great. But the other big one is Sting. Sting's moved up to 78, so he's actually improved popularity already since coming to AEW, which is huge for us. So, I don't know, like I said, what we're going to do with Sting and MJF, but we can do something big there. It might really help MJF go to that next level, which, obviously would be huge for us. Eddie Kingston's 40 popularity now, and he's the guy that I really want to try and move up the card ASAP. So much potential in him, especially with the promos. I'm looking forward to trying moving him up. And other than that, there really isn't too much change to really talk about. We'll take a look at the lowest guys on the card. Ricky Starks had a strong match, and he's about 27 pop, which is a nice, steady improvement. He's gone up another point here at the end of the month, so he's doing okay. Nothing special, but there is some small improvement, which is, all we can really ask for. 27, we can get him to 30, 35, he can start to be a little bit more of a player on our roster, because we still get penalized for using guys, even like Will Hobbs, for example, because they got a little bit too, not enough popularity to truly, warrant being on the main show. And that makes it really difficult for us to kind of push the entire roster when we're penalized like that. Alright, here's some news that's certainly going to interest us. Probably our biggest competitor on the NXT roster, Finn Balor, is now being called up to the main roster. So he's been in NXT, he's got 70 pop, he's averaging 72 rated matches, including an 86 against Adam Cole. So he's their best guy. Without a doubt, he is their man, and he's now moving up to the main roster. So NXT will no longer be as huge of a threat in a way. You've still got Adam Cole, who's going to deliver great matches, but the guy with the most popularity out of their active wrestlers is now up on the main roster. So that's huge for us. That's a bit of a sigh of relief, and that will make things that little bit easier come pay-per-view time to potentially outperform NXT. Alright, it is a new month, which means there's plenty to look at. So let's get into it. So New Japan have inducted Koji Kanemoto into their Hall of Fame. Dolph Ziggler's turning heel at Survivor Series, which got 42,000 fans. Let's take a look. They had an 82 rated show. Main event was Daniel Bryan, MVP, Andrade, Sheamus, and Cesaro beating McIntyre, Mysterio, Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode. Interesting stuff. Jeff Hardy was on the losing end of a match against Black Garza, Tucker, and the Viking Raiders, of course. Tough going there. Well, The Fiend was on that team too, so he lost as well. So, but other than that, the show kind of sucked. Not a lot to it. So, I don't know how they got an A2 rated show. I suppose a couple of good matches is all it takes. News-wise, wow. Well, there you go. That was Jeff Hardy's last match in the WWE. And he is officially done there. He is now a part of All Elite Wrestling. We have Jeff Hardy, and he is ready to debut for us this week. We can make him happen now, which is awesome. Mike Posey wants a pay increase. I suppose I'll allow it. So this is big. Jeff Hardy, let's have a quick little look at his stats and what we can really expect from him. 69 pop. You got all the experience, 85 charisma, that's huge. Basics and selling is great. He's still got some good aerial stats. Hardcore stats are pretty good as well, so he could mix in quite well with some of the guys in our roster. Stamina is still pretty solid. I feel like he is declining, but I still think we're going to get plenty out of him for a while. He had a lot of matches with Bo Dallas. My goodness, how many? I'm not sure if we could see how many times he took on Bo Dallas, but my God, WWE loved Jeff Hardy and Bo Dallas. They had 8 matches against each other. An average of 69. Jeff won 5, he lost 3. And you can see he started to lose his last 3 when he signed the AEW contract. Yeah, there you go. But anyways, Jeff is on our roster. That's awesome. All right, now the finance. How did we go this month? Okay, not our worst, but not our best month in terms of finance. 558,000 in the red. Now, we did have a pay-per-view that obviously helps our ticket sales. We had that inflated number because we made that mistake, but nonetheless, 113,000, which is good. Broadcasting revenue is slightly lower as well. Sponsorship money is up. Merchandise money is up as well. Our worker cost was only slightly higher. I feel like that should start to drop a little bit. We're making some better contract decisions. But yeah, so, you know, we're still in the red, and I feel like until we get the fans back, we will be in the red, but you know, that's okay. We're starting to make some better decisions, some small little inroads, some cutting costs. Speaking of merchandise, Chris Jericho was the top merchandise seller again, $62,000 to Chris Jericho sold. Moxley, about $32,000. Big difference from then on. Cody, third. Sting was the fourth. Kenny's the fifth. But yeah, so probably would like to see a few other guys move up the ranks a little bit, but for the most part, you know, no surprise who our main guys are there. So we are now in December. Our next big show is just over a month away. So New Year's Smash is going to be our next pay-per-view, and it's going to be important that we really deliver on that one as we get, you know, one last chance to really build some momentum into Revolution. Storyline wise, looking pretty decent. You know, we've had a nice little start to a lot of our storylines. Inner Circle and Young Bucks, we really need to start building that one. You know, Kenny Omega may have a rematch with Adam Page at New Year's Smash. I think that would probably be appropriate, and then we might build towards Cody and Kenny after that. Matt Hardy and Brian Cage is about to kind of kick up a little bit. We can add Jeff Hardy into that one, and I think on the next episode we might have him debut as Matt Hardy's new tag team partner. Maybe we could drag it down another week and kind of build it up and make it a little bit more meaningful. That might be a better idea as well. But yeah, obviously the TNT Championship Tournament's kind of heating up. I think that's doing pretty well. And we're going to figure out what we're going to do with MJF and Sting. What would you guys do? Let me know in the comment section down below. MJF and Sting, do we do a cinematic match? Do we have someone else represent Sting? We'll have to figure it out. But with that being said, guys, thank you for watching this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next one. Jeff Hardy is coming in. Cannot wait. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.